So this is Puyo Puyo Tetris for the Nintendo Switch, and the artwork is done nicely. We're going to be unboxing it today. We got some nice Puyos, some nice Tetraminos, and then of course we got the game itself, and only the game itself. And then we got the controls. So these cartridges are nice. They are coated with a thing that tastes bad, so kids don't swallow them. But it's really bad if you're me and you like to hold them in your mouth, because I've done that 3 times and I'll do it a 4th. So all of this is, you know, nice. Plastic's good. And let's review the game. As you might be able to tell, this is take 2. So, first of all, I love Tetris, and I love falling block puzzle games, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. But, you know, so I'm of course a little biased on the subject of any Tetris game, and I mean, my high score is such a large number that I can't read it. And I don't know if that says more about my math skills or how high my score is, but admittedly, this is just an excuse to brag about my high score. So, it also means, though, that I've played a lot of Tetris games, and this one's my favorite, and let me tell you why. This will also be our final take. Well, what is Puyo Puyo Tetris? Well, you know what Tetris is, but Puyo Puyo, well, I don't know your life. Now, if you've ever played Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine for the Sega Genesis, and you haven't, but if you ever have, then it's that same game, but it's also similar to the Milk game in Webkins, or so I've been told. So, essentially, and let me break it down for you. Is we got these things. They're called Puyos, and these are your Tetris blocks of the game. And what you're doing with these is you're gonna match up 4 to make them pop, and then you're gonna try to situate these in such a row that they make chains, and when you make change, it gives garbage Puyos to the other player. So, one of these days, you just wait for it. Yeah, close in on this. So, now that we've been over that, let's talk about why this version's so good. So you've got a story mode, and let me tell you, this story mode will have you pressing skip. What's it about? There's a spaceship, there's Tetris blocks, who cares? Okay, but you also got so many modes. You got local multiplayer, you got online, you got gosh darn split screen, plenty of single player modes, as well as so if you don't have friends or you're afraid of the internet, you can still play this game. It's got plenty of challenge modes for Tetris. It's of course got endless Tetris, endless Puyo, and it's also got Battle Tetris, which if you don't know, is a version of Tetris in which every time you get blocks, it sends junk lines to the other player, which they need to clear, and if they don't, then they die. So, and it's the same with Puyo Puyo. It's also got a party mode, sadly. It's terrible. It's actually, I'm not even going to go into it. And it's also, so if you were thinking, you know what I love more than anything? Tetris 2. I don't know who you are, but if so, man, has this game got a version for you. It's called Fusion. It's a pile of garbage. So the blocks, the Puyos, you match them up like normal, but you also make Tetris lines, but it's all happening at the same time, and you don't get many Tetris blocks. And then the blocks destroy the things, but if you quick drop them, then they don't. But if you slow drop them, it's good. It's great. You should play it. So really, the selling point of this game is that the multiplayer, which is wonderful. I mean, the online multiplayer works well, which, I mean, frankly, says something for a Tetris game. It's usually decently active. And then the fact that this game has amazing controls and it is very polished. I haven't found a single glitch in the game, and I have, frankly, 105 hours in the game. And my cameraman, he hasn't found any glitches either. So, for that reason, I recommend it. So, I don't have a capture card, and I'm not going to buy one. So instead of gameplay like normal, I'm just going to show you all of the places that I can play Puyo Puyo Tetris. Starting with on my bed. But not only on my bed, I can play it just courts. Under my bed, possible. Nope, that's as far as I'm getting. I can play it halfway under my bed. On the toilet. This is how I use the toilet. Pants on, seat down, it just goes through. It's a, don't ask, it's a medical condition. So I can't play Puyo Puyo Tetris while driving because that would be a safety hazard. You can even play it while jogging. And if that isn't a selling factor, I don't know what is. On the swings. The same place we filmed the start of this video. So, not only is this a gaming channel, but it's also a tech and travel channel. So I've traveled to this tennis court to review the Switch for you. And the Nintendo Switch, spec-wise, is nothing spectacular. It's got a 4-arm Cortex A57, or about 2 gigahertz CPU, a NVIDIA Tegra 2 gigahertz GPU, which is decent, which is one of the best mobile chips on the market, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and 32 gigabytes of internal storage, along with a 6.2-inch 720p display. And what that means is, these specs aren't good for compared to a home console like a PS4 or Xbox. They're very bad, but compared to a DS or other mobile device, they're incredible. So it's trying to hit that sweet spot of being just powerful enough to be able to play the games you want, but it can't be that powerful because it has to be portable. And the 720p display, even though it's not 1080p, is fine because of the size. You don't notice it, and the resolution looks perfect. It does have a plastic screen, which is why I have a glass screen protector. I have glass over my plastic. It's great. It's a perfect combination. That does mean the screen won't crack. And the main selling point for the Switch is the fact that it has wonderful exclusives. It's got your Zeldas, your Marios, it's got Splatoon, it's got a lot of games that you can only play on the Switch. So even though it's not a very powerful console, that doesn't mean it's not a good console, because most of these games are more stylized, and that doesn't make them worse games. So that's my review of the Switch.